Sorry, I haven't done live stream before. I'm always in person when I do this.
Mom
Setting
used
up.
to say that every kid or every person has a kid inside of them. In the case of Tony, it's a whole nursery.
uh,
Yeah, try and
okay.
manage about 15 5-year-olds.
Okay, it's asking me to log into Facebook, Tony, and so I'm just going to dodge that for now.
Oh, yeah, that's really? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I,
Yeah.
I, I
So,
logged that in, but all right.
okay, good. So, folks, welcome to Phoenix Business Exchange. We won't dally any further. It is a fine Monday morning, May 6th, 2024. Couple of quick notes. You want to be sending your information to Tony for any business conducted last month. Uh, if you've done any transactions with other members, and we can share that information. Because year to date, right now, we're at $70,000, 70,440 to be more precise. And that means we've done business between ourselves. And that's not even based on the referrals. Referral wise, we've done 201 referrals year to date. And BAMs, business activity meetings, 217. And then apparently the e-cards, if you see the QR code behind me, that transacted a bit more information where you can share who you are, what you are, where you are, and how to get a hold of you. That didn't rhyme, but sorry, but it drives the point. We're up to 4,138 contacts in the last week. And Tony was mentioning earlier, just before we started, that has been going gangbuster in the last week. So whatever we're doing, keep doing it. I'm going to share my screen here, and so we should be seeing a what's going on in the world of the Phoenix Business Exchange. And now in this space, you'll see our Phoenix website, pbex.ca. Just type it in. And now we're going to go down and we're going to say, hey, who is the member of the week? It's Sam Sturros, Dashcam Sam. So you want to know more about what Sam does? Click on that video and you'll get the full breadth of it.
There you go,
These
Sam.
little these red links right here, that's how you get into our meetings. So today, the Monday morning one, 8 to 9, click here. You'll come in by Zoom. We have a Wednesday one and a Thursday morning one. All of them at 8 to 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. We do have this week, tomorrow afternoon or tomorrow evening at 7, after hours group. Any Phoenix member is welcome. It's a good way to keep on top of your goals. And then we have East Trade Winds, which is tomorrow at 8 a.m. Eastern. Tony has a meditation on Fridays, and May 10th, that's this Friday, 1:30 to 2:30. Penny Lee's got some dancing moves to help you out, and it'll keep your body live and active. Then we have a Bell's Corners in-person meeting on May 27th. Now that's going to be at 7:30 a.m. That will not be on Zoom, so that'll be one of the Mondays that we won't be active on Zoom. Then we have the East End Edition meeting at what was the name of the restaurant again for that
High
Tuesday?
fives.
High Fives. Perfect. That was the Monday one, and what was the Tuesday one? Is
Oh,
that's
sorry,
out the
Biggs. That's at the
Bigs?
Big
Yeah,
Deli and Brick Grill.
awesome. And then we have a directory for all Phoenix members, so you have the QR code. If you hear or see something, you're looking for something, come on in or check that link, and that'll give you to all the different access points. The QR code again drives you into. You'll get to see the person's contact details, such as a phone number, email, and website. And then top books to read for business success. You want to apply as a partner inside the Phoenix? Just hit that red button. Come on in. Check us out. We'll follow up with you. I'm going to stop share, and we're going to have a tech talk with Mr. Josh Lamb. Josh, over to you, sir.
Thanks, Bernie. Thanks everyone for coming this morning. My company is Sterling Grace Technologies, and we're a small and medium business, small business management company for managed services. So that's basically we do support for small businesses like yours. Today, I want to talk to you guys about the importance of disaster recovery planning and your backups. And so a lot of businesses do not do this in a great way. Basically, it's if there are any backups, they're manually created and they might exist once in a blue moon, maybe you remembered to copy some of your files this month to that external hard drive. It's sitting out in the cellar. But generally speaking, most small businesses need to have a better strategy than that. They need to have the ability to deal with unexpected disasters, whether they be the weather, whether they be flooding, looking at you downtown Ottawa, whether they're looking at malicious intent from employees or team members, or whether they're looking at hacking or any kind of other compromise or human error. It's best to have at least a daily backup, and some businesses might even do twice a day. And so you need to look at solutions that can help you automate this process. And so, the basically a data backup should include making an entire backup of your system, as well as targeting your key files. And so typically we look at doing what's called an image backup, which takes a bare metal, basically a photograph of the way that your bits and bytes are organized on your hard drive. It's the quickest way, well, maybe not quickest, it's kind of slow to recover on them, but it's the best way to get an identical copy of what your current running machine looks like back in business. And those you don't necessarily have to keep taking daily. They can be something that's weekly or even monthly. And then you should do what's called incremental backups outside of that. And those ones are at a file level, and they're usually targeted at only the files that you change. And so based on having both your image, which gets your system back to square one, and then your differential and incremental backups, which get all of your data from the last day kind of rebuilt, you can have a pretty comprehensive strategy where you're basically covered. What are the best ways to do this? There are two different types of solutions. One of them is on-site and the other is off-site or cloud. With on-site backups, there are some free solutions out there, and you can usually, so one of them would be Duplicati, and you can set that up and tell it what files you're looking to capture. That's for the differential and the incremental. You'd probably looking at a software called Acronis. That would be my preferred for doing full image backups. And usually if you're doing on-site, so in your home or at your small office, you're going to want to have, a lot of people will use external hard drives, which can be okay, but I would recommend that you have some kind of network attached storage. Most small businesses, it's in their budget to go out and buy a $200 MyCloud, which can just sit connected to your network in a secure location, and it can just be essentially a network share so that you can copy your files over the network to that location. And then if your computer gets smoked, then you'll have basically a backup location that's separate from your computer. You don't have to remember to plug it in and unplug it. And so that's a great way to manage for your own in-house stuff. And then you can take things to the next level with a cloud-based. We have a solution called Sterling Vault that basically has an on-site server with mirroring to the cloud. It's backed by Google Cloud Services. And so this basically keeps a daily copy of all of your emergency kind of high importance files in the cloud. And then it also keeps the huge amount of data from your full system locally. So it makes it very quick to restore that way. When you have a local versus in-cloud solution, the local restore is going to be faster because you don't have to download it over the internet. So if you have the ability to have the on-site one, but the cloud one is kind of the failover for if something actually physically happens to your building, like a fire or a flood, then at least you've got something. It depends on your tolerance at your business for how long you want to be without your data. And so, yeah, so that's kind of your picture of what your backups need to look like for a disaster recovery plan.
That's how small
For a disaster recovery plan, generally speaking, you should have a document that outlines all the different software that you use, your license keys, and basically the way to reinstall things if things go sideways. And so that it might just be simple instructions of where my backups are, how I get them back on my machine, maybe what the hardware specs are. So I have a server that needs 40 gigs of RAM in order to house all my applications. And this is the vendor that, and that's, I saw some wows in the crowd on that one. That's kind of small. Actually, from a server perspective, we have some customers with 128 on their servers, and they're still kind of medium sized. They're 40 employee. So, but yeah, you want to have information about vendor contacts. Hopefully, if you've got like a Dell PowerEdge server, you have support for that Dell PowerEdge server. It's an annual paid plan that gets next day business delivery of a replacement server should yours go down. And so these kinds of things are factored into a disaster recovery response. So hopefully that gave you a little bit to think about for the security of your data and the resilience of your business. If you're not comfortable doing this kind of stuff yourself, give me a call and I can talk you through building yourself a backup solution and a disaster recovery plan. Thanks.
Josh, thank you so much. If there are any questions for anybody online who's watching this segment, reach out to Josh. He's going to be sharing his contact details, and I'm going to share in the chat our LinkedIn live posts. That's a great place to put your contact details, so anybody on LinkedIn can also see what's going on and who you are and how to get a hold of you. And if you folks, and if you're looking in online, you can't get a hold of anybody or can't find us easily, either connect with myself or Tony, and we'd be more than glad to direct you to the smartest person in the room for that particular service. And now we're going to do our intros. And yes, Sam, the two fingers over there, my other buddy. We'll start off with Eric Sonego, and then we'll go to Lana Burnley. Eric, over to you, sir. Do your intros, and what's been happening in your week other than taxes?
I almost slept in today. Well, I did sleep in today because of last week. We had a resounding end of tax season. My employees are still not showing up to work until later on today. They took the rest of the week off. And we found today, like I really don't like to talk about specifics about, the people that we have done. But one thing has become worrisome to me is that I do lots of seniors income taxes, probably 75 to 100 tax returns of people who are over the age of 75, and 90% of them have mortgages. And I ask myself, what is happening out there? This was not the case like 10 years ago, and it's worrisome. And I don't want to worry my clients. I don't say anything to them, but it's something that we're watching closely. For this and other more worrisome issues, you can call us at 613-254-7310, and everything else will be posted in the chat line.
Eric, you're the warm blanket coming up to give everybody a hug financially. And Lana, and then Josh. Lana, over to you, ma'am.
Oh man, Eric, that was very interesting. Hi, I'm Lana Burnley, your realtor of choice. And let me take the worry out of the purchases of a home where you will probably need a mortgage through Jacqueline, your mortgage honey. We have something called now pre-close visit, and that came into popularity about 15 years ago. A pre-close visit is not an inspection. It is simply a walk through your home prior to closing to take measurements, to show off your home to your parents, perhaps. I've had 2 pre-close visits this past weekend, and even though I tell my clients, this is not to change anything in the agreement of purchase and sale. This is simply to take another look at your home. However, on the other hand, in looking through the home to see if there's any significant changes, see if anything's been swapped out, see if anything has been missing. For example, mirrors sometimes go missing, like mirrors on in bathrooms, because they're nice fancy mirrors, even though they're supposed to be in the agreement of purchase and sale, which they usually are. People don't pay attention to what they're signing these days, it seems. And they're taking little things like that. So in a pre-close visit, and it's not to become adversarial or anything, it's just to say, I haven't noticed the mirror isn't there. Where is it? And I can't say that to the sellers. I say that to the listing agent, the seller's agent, and find out where it is so we can preemptively make sure there's no issues at closing and there's not things missing like doorknobs or towel racks. People take towel racks and they take things like, anything that's screwed to a wall basically is supposed to stay. If it's hung on a wall with a nail, it can go. So it becomes a bit of an issue because some people are not told that. So in a pre-close visit, for you as the buyer or your kids buying their first home, it's to just check out the home, measure it perhaps, and show it off. For me, I'm actually checking for little things that might be over, that are you can't think of on a regular basis, like mirrors or wine racks or curtain rods, things like that. Now, I'm Lena Burnley. One of my greatest joys comes from being trusted with your referrals of your kids buying their first new home.
Lena, thank you so much. And Josh, and then Jacqueline. Josh, over to you, sir.
Thanks, Bernie. Again, I'm Josh Lamb. Sterling Grace Tech is my business. We're your one-stop shop for all your IT needs for Eastern Ontario businesses. If you've got tech support needs, and around the world, if you have custom software development needs, which includes web-related. I spoke a little bit about disaster recovery and backup planning earlier, and hopefully everybody is extremely excited about that. But now I'm going to talk about the other side of my business, which is the web development side and custom software development side. If you have a business that has customers and they have the internet, and you have processes to deliver your services to those customers and or track those customers, and or you would like to market to those customers, you need to give us a call. There are a whole slew of technologies that do a really fantastic job of doing a lot of automation for your business. And so you can get things like Drip. Drip is an email marketing system that lets you create customer prospect experience chains, where you can basically say, okay, these are 10 value-added stories. You put them together kind of similarly to how you would put together a blog. And then when you get a customer to subscribe to your newsletter on your website, a prospect, then you can introduce yourself by an email like you normally would manually, but this is automated. And then you can follow up with them automatically at a frequency of your choosing and deliver value to them without necessarily asking anything from them in return. And this in turn sets you up as the expert. And so when they are thinking about getting a mortgage honey, they'll be thinking about Jacqueline, because Jacqueline has been emailing them with all kinds of great information about how you need to think about the next steps in buying your house. Once they finally turn around and decide that they're going to go through with it, you can get them to sign off on paperwork. We do integration online with DocuSign, and so it can automatically send them your contract templates with their information filled in. They sign it all, and it's all done on a schedule automatically. So it's another thing taken off your plate. Then their information can be automatically funneled from the website form where they initially asked for all of this into your customer relationship management system. And there are lots of great customer relationship management systems out there that do these types of things, and we can help you set it up. And so if you need your tech to stop just costing you money and start actually making you some money and making your life easier in the process, give me a call. I'm Josh Lamb. This is Sterling Grace Technologies. Thanks.
Josh, thank you. Jacqueline, and then Sam. Go ahead, Jacqueline.
Perfect. Thank you. And after Eric's clients have had a conversation with him, they all needed to take a breath. Oh my gosh, take them up, take them back, release them down, because he gave them extraordinary information that encompasses their loans, their mortgages, their auto, you name it. Eric has had that conversation with them. And sometimes they come to me and say, Jacqueline, wow, I need to pay some CRA debt. Well, how can I help you do that? Well, let's sit down and have a conversation. It's kind of interesting. I get to talk about not just mortgages, but I get to help them with their auto loans. Shocking. Mortgages, cars, sometimes the places you live in include a car. And I'm hearing that more and more. Eric, you're a riot. You're great. And so when you're looking for strategies for your mortgage money for your home and mortgage strategies to accomplish finding what you need to contact your mortgage honey.
Jacqueline, thank you so much. And over to Sam and then Shane.
Thank you, Bernie. Good morning, everyone. Sam Sturz, connectedcars.ca. There we go. Got my contact information in the chat. Good news, Eric. I told Jacqueline this, but our mortgage is absolutely done as of next month. Well, actually later this month. That's right. It's May. So no more mortgage, house and cottage clear. So celebration just about to happen. Thank you. Sensors, connected cars.ca. Lana, we were talking about dash cameras. I do install these things, dash cameras. So if you're interested in something like that, I can help you out. Any kind of questions, I'll gladly try and answer. Also do minor repairs, oil changes, and brake jobs. Been doing lots of tire exchanges, and last week I was doing lots of detailing cars. I had 3 cars that I did last week. Cleaned them up from the winter time and spruced up the interior and even did the engine compartments as well. I can show you pictures if you're interested in that. Let's see. Things going on. I'm going to skip over to BAMS. Tanya, I'm going to see her tomorrow. Got an oil change for her. She's from the East Group. Steve. For our friend Alex from Evolta. Give these pamphlets out with each one of my receipts. Sam Sturz, connected car electronics without the cost.
Must be internet day. The sunspots. The sunspots are working overtime. Sam, we'll come back to you. Shane, over to you, sir, and then Dwight.
What's up, everybody? Hope everyone's having a fine Monday. Basically, I've been working with I work with hockey players, as much you know. We do mentoring with them, so kind of telling them how to do things on the ice better, what they can improve on, as much as just guiding somewhere to go and sign with people. We help them get opportunities in scholarships in hockey, and usually with the NCAA's Division 3 to Division 1. We got good contacts in that area as well. But I'm working with one guy who I felt just needed more explosive power, and one of the trainers that I used when I was going through my own hockey career is in Buffalo, and we've hooked up virtually now because he's a little bit older, so he didn't know about all the technology that can be used. So we've actually been training a kid virtually, and we're going to collaborate on something that's a low back pain, neck pain, and stuff like that, because people are always asking, like, I'm stuck in a hotel. What can I do? So we're going to probably make a little video series on that as well. It's a work in progress, obviously, because it's got to be done properly and well. And I might have to call on Bernie for some advice on how to get the ahs and the ums out of the old recordings. But besides that, it's all going really well. But it's really nice thing that we can help people out over virtually, something at their own home. And some people don't want to go to the gym and do that types of things, but as long as you have access to some gym equipment, some weights and stuff like that, it's not a bad option to go forward with. So if anyone is interested in having some of that virtual stuff done, he's a very reasonable priced. He's a great guy and really knowledgeable. He's written a thesis and everything else for his strength training. So it's something that we can help you out with if you are interested or just want some advice anyway. I'm Dr. Shane Bayless, Pro Action Health and Performance. We get results. Are you? Take care, guys. Have a good one.
Shane, thank you so much. And Dwight, if you're available, go ahead.
Morning, everyone. Nice, bright, sunshiny Monday. And I guess it's getting to that time of the year in which it's going to be hot all year round. Well, sort of. Anyways, my name is Dwight, and my wife and I, Nicole, we founded a company called Taste Sweet Life. Taste Sweet Life, which is a vegan Caribbean catering, specializing in the Caribbean side of food. We've been doing this now for at least 8 years. We're in the process of preparing for vending this coming Saturday at Lansdowne Pavilion, and it's always busy. And over the past week, I guess we recovered from that and a couple other little gigs we had throughout the week. We also had, in reference to, we met with Penny Lee with an ongoing session this past Tuesday night. And this week we can be hopefully talking with Ema again, just to finish off a few items that we have with her. So that's it for me for the time being. Thanks.
Dwight, thank you so much. And over to Tony.
Hi, everybody. Tony Jennis from Higher Self. I'm the spirit guy of the group. I'm a feng shui consultant as well and an instructor. I do readings, and what that means is that there's an energy around everyone. Everyone exudes a certain field that is part of them. And a lot of times it's something that we are conditioned to think a certain way, and our vibration is matching that. In doing that, that vibration, just like tuning forks or singing bowls or sounds that you can hear, there is a special art that you could take those frequencies and turn it into energy and send it across the globe to someone in Spain, let's say. And I teach how other practitioners how to do that. People that have been working in the sound field, we're going to be doing part 2 later this month for the number of students, where we're taking frequency and converting it into energy and then sending it to somebody. So what's the big deal on that? Well, it means that if somebody in Spain is looking for a tuning session or something to be healed, some trauma to go through, we could send that energy off of the tuning forks as if they were in our studio. And it makes them feel calm. They feel much lighter, and so it's a great art, really is. And on top of that, we as far as the corporate world, I do a lot of corporate readings. Lately, I've been doing a lot of businesses that have been trying to pivot. It's really difficult out there in the market. No matter what business you're in, there's so many other people doing the same thing, and it's with a higher cost and things, that people are looking for another edge in how they could make decisions and make less mistakes, less do things that are right the first time. So more and more of them are coming in for readings. Last week, it's a record number that I had. Most of my corporate clients came in that they are pivoting, and it's spring, new things are coming in, and they're looking for solutions. How, okay, what do you think? And half of them were just to wait. In other words, they want to spend money. There's one that wanted to spend $40,000 to expand their business in a certain way. And I said, not right now. It's just not the right. I haven't told you what I want to do. I know, but there's an energy around what you want to do. And so that's what I'm reading. So it's basically intuition for professionals. In time, I teach these professionals how to do it on their own, so that they don't need me as often. Because if you're in a boardroom and I'm not there, I don't want to be sort of so dependent or dependable or whatever it's called, they're reliant, I guess, that they can't make a decision. That's not the best either. So the idea is to teach people how to do this, and it is possible. So Tony Jennings from Hire Yourself, if you know somebody that is going through a difficult time in their business and want a reading, have them call me. We are here to raise your spirits.
Tony, thank you so much. I'm going to be doing a presentation, but Tony's going to be doing an education piece, and so I'm going to swing it back over to Tony.
Okay. Well, one of the things that we are really getting to is that, again, with businesses, we're looking for different ways to try to attain our goals. And we somehow keep getting this a wall. We try to, it could go as far as weight. You get to a certain weight and we can't lose any more from that. So it's like a glass wall, a glass ceiling. When we are looking for solutions and how on earth do we raise our businesses and attain so much more exponentially? And we're not talking 3%, 5%, we're talking 50%, 100% in a very short time. And how do people do that? Well, it's called the glass ceiling and the glass walls that we keep hitting it. And I looked at the definition of this, and it is a unseen but felt barrier that you can't get through. And so it's usually something deeper than just a goal that maybe is not powerful enough, or all the logistic, all the things that you can see. So I look at always, I look at the things that are underneath. What is really going on that is going with that goal? So I want to do a quick exercise for you. Grab a pad or a piece of paper, or you could do it mentally if you're walking or driving. Don't write anything if you're driving. You can just mention it. I'm going to ask you 3 questions, okay? The first question is I want you to write down a goal that over the next while you want to attain, whatever that is. It could be something personal, losing weight, or you want to, let's say, attain a dash cam by the end of the week, or let's say you want to be able to purchase something, or there's some goal that you have. Okay, just write down the goal. Okay, by now you would, being in business, you probably are used to this. So write down that goal. The second question is, how long do you think it will take you right now, based on your beliefs and your perception, that it will take you to attain that goal, whatever it is? Put down weeks, months, days, years. If it's a house, it might be a year, 2 years, whatever. So whatever that goal is, how long do you think it will take? And the third question is, how many steps do you think it'll take? When we have a goal, we have, okay, I got to do this, then I got to do this. And there are sort of these mental steps that you have to do to get there, physical, cognitive, whatever. Could be 10 steps, 50 steps, doesn't have to be exact. Just to get an idea of how many steps do you think it will take you to get there. Just let me know when everybody's done. Like if I go to the grocery store, well, I got to get in my car. That's step 1. Make sure I take a shopping list. That's step 2. Because if I don't take a shopping list, I'll end up buying stuff and still forget the stuff I went to the grocery store for. It's very important because. Okay, got that? Everybody got that? How many steps? How long? And the goal. Okay. So here's the reality. The goal that you want, all right? In step 2, how long will it take? It will take half as long. That's the answer. And step 3, however many steps you put down, it will only take 1 step. So what's the first thing that comes to your mind right now? What's the first question you might have that comes to your mind, knowing that it'll take half as long and it's only going to be 1 step instead of whatever you wrote down is how many steps it will be?
Of course, how is that going to happen?
How? There you go. How? Thank you, Lana, for that. And so the how is a big thing that humans are very much wrapped up in. How is something going to happen? because we live in a world, and this is how you've been conditioned. So it isn't something that has happened just out of the blue. This is the way you've been conditioned since birth. You come in, and as kids, we just play, we just want all these things, and we don't worry about the how. We just want it, and that's it. If we don't get it, then we just expect it. And as soon as people realize that this is what we want, we're not wavering when we're 3, right? If a 3-year-old wants something, chances are if they cook up a fuss, they will get it. So they don't work on the how. They just know they want it. But as we get older, the how becomes more of a relevant issue. We want to know how it's done. We want to be able to see all the steps it takes to get there. And this is why, in many cases, when we get to a certain point, we hit a glass ceiling. Because we're always looking at, I have to be able to see or hang on to the branch before I let the other branch go. But in the wild, in nature, that's not done. Monkeys fly, believe it or not. When they go from one branch to another, at one point they're airborne. They know that they're going to be able to get that other branch on the other side, and they don't worry about the how. They just feel that it can be done. And that's why they can do these magical leaps everywhere. The way we've been conditioned is we have to see Toronto before we leave Ottawa. And someone would say, well, that's ridiculous. It's so far. You can't see Toronto because it's 4 hours away. Those that are on Facebook Live or LinkedIn, we're in Ottawa, and it's about a 4-hour trip. So wherever you are, can you see if you're 4 hours away from a destination? Probably not. But what happens when you go halfway? Do you just say, well, I still can't see my destination, I'm going to go back? But in business, that's what happens all the time. We set a goal and we're halfway there, or we just start and we get discouraged because we don't see the goal. We don't see what it is that we need to go to. But when you're driving, you just know, the GPS will show you that you're on your way, you're going in the right direction, and you have faith that Toronto is still there when you get there. It hasn't left, right? Unless you go to that one farmer where they went to, they're leaving their farm, and then it said Toronto left, and then they went home. But that's a separate story. But when we get a goal, what we need to do is realize that if we want to do exponential ways in getting it, we have to get out of the boxed in thinking, the fact that, I have to see all these steps. When you want something badly, you just want it. Don't look at the how. The how is not important. It's the what. That's how the universe works. The how is the universe's job. The how is what happens when I just want that, and it just happens. Now, I'm going to give you a quick story. I think we have a little time. I'm going to give you a quick story. Years ago, I wanted to be a professor in Algonquin College. I was a student there about 20 years previous, and there was a point in my business where I had a little bit of time. I had a very successful moving company, and I said, I would love to teach there, be a professor. And when I looked into it, they said, oh, no. We people don't. You have to go to university, and there's 4 years here, and you have to have some kind of a degree to become a professor here. And I didn't care. I says, I still want to be a professor. And so I thought about it and became a burning desire. I don't care how. I just want to be in front of those students and share the knowledge I've had over the past 30 years. That would be amazing. And so it was just burning. So within about a week or so, my son had about 2 drum sets that he had, and he wanted to sell one because he wasn't using it. So he put it on Kijiji, had somebody reply to the ad that they wanted to buy it. So he brought his son over and to look at the drum set. So as he's coming in, he takes a look at the set, and as the kids were doing it, I had a chance to talk to the father. And we get to talking, and I said, and somehow the conversation came up. He says, one of the biggest dreams I have is to be a professor at Algonquin College. And he says, really? Because I'm the coordinator for Algonquin College to get people in. I says, I would love to get in. And he says, what's your name? He says, Phil Jones. I says, Phil, I've been sending you emails for the past 2 weeks. Is that you? I says, yeah, that's me. He says, yeah, I saw that. He says, somehow the universe got us together. I'll see what I can do. So he checked into it, and in the not printed on all of their documents, on the very bottom it says 30 years of service in your business is equivalent to a degree. And he says, I think I can get you in. And so as it happened, I did get in. So I taught for a couple of years as a professor at Algonquin College because I didn't look at the how. I just wanted to be there. If I had to go through all of the steps, I never would have become a professor because I'm too wrapped up in the how. So, lesson learned is if you want something, don't look at the how. It's irrelevant when it comes to exponential growth. There's no how. It's just you do. I know I'm being Yoda, but it's okay. The idea here is the vision has to be so romantic because I really wanted to share what I had. It wasn't just me having a title. That didn't mean anything to me. But I have knowledge in this melon and a lot of mistakes that I've had over the years that I could share this with a young business person that they won't make as many mistakes. Because when I see young people getting into business, I see so many making just, rudimentary mistakes. Like I got a business card the other day from a person just starting in business. There's no photograph on there. Their name is not on it. There's phone numbers not on it. There's no address. There's just a QR. There's no website. It's just on Instagram, which is okay. I mean, so we got to start somewhere. Then they have a QR. I says, great. I'll find out who they are. The QR doesn't work. So I said, do you not test this? Like they just make it up. They made up thousands of these business cards, sending it to everybody, and it doesn't do anything. And so there's a lot of things that I wanted to. And so if that is a burning desire for you, just release the element of the how. How do I get this? You're going to have 3%, 4% growth, maybe 10 if you work your butt off. But if you take out the how, it's 50, 100, 200% results. That's the difference. Let the universe work on the how. Okay, thanks, Bernie. Over to you.
Okay, Tony, thank you. So I'm going to just say, hey, what do? I connect people. I connect businesses, and it's an art form. And finding the right matches. Got a podcast, Knack for Business, to talk to people about the business journey. And I'll wrap us up with a closing quote because it's that time of the day. I can resist anything except temptation, courtesy of Oscar Wilde.
That's great. Okay, I'll put that on the site there. Where I'm
Awesome.
now putting the sayings onto the site.
Excellent. So now I'm going to take us off.